Jai. See, meeting is now being live streamed.
Yes, we are live.
I don't know why it wasn't working for me. That's really odd. But okay. I am in the wrong. I think I'm in the wrong one. Where is it? Zoom meeting. Not that. 1 second. I think I might have to pull it up again. Oh,
Which verse is it, Prabhu?
1, 10, 20.
Okay.
I can pull it up. Got it. There it is. Share sound. Share. Okay. We'll listen to this class. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, May 24th, 1973, in London. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 20, Canto 10, Chapter 20, verse 20.
Chapter 10, page 530. Anyonyam,
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 Asit,
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 Sanjalpa,
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 Uttama,
Uttama.
Which one?
It's chapter 11, not chapter 10. Chapter 11.
No. Why do you dictate? He's reading something. Why do you change it?
Text,
What is that?
Page 531, Srila Prabhupada. Text number 20 of chapter 10. Uttama,
Uttama,
Shloka,
Shloka,
Chetasam,
Chetasam,
Kauravendra,
Karavendra,
Kauravendra,
Karavendra,
Pura,
Pura,
Strinam,
Srinam,
Sarva,
Sarva,
Shruti,
Shuti,
Mano,
Mano,
Paraha,
Paraha,
Anyonyam Asit,
Asit,
Sanjalpa,
Sanjalpa,
Anyonyam Asit, Sanjalpa,
Anyonyam Asit, Sanjalpa,
Anyonyam Asit, Sanjalpa,
Anyonyam Asit, Sanjalpa,
Uttama,
Uttama,
Shloka,
Shloka,
Chetasam,
Chetasam,
Uttama Shloka, Chetasam,
Uttama Shloka, Chetasam,
Uttama Shloka, Chetasam,
Uttama Shloka, Chetasam,
Kauravendra,
Karavendra,
Kauravendra,
Karavendra,
Pura,
Pura,
Strinam,
Srinam,
Kauravendra, Pura, Strinam,
Karavendra, Pura, Srinam,
Kauravendra, Pura, Strinam,
Karavendra, Pura, Srinam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I can't hear anything.
You can hear out, Prabhu?
No, I can't. And even the live stream, it's not audible.
Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have to unmute my mic. Okay. Let's try now.
Nyamasit sanjalpa Uttama shloka chetasam Kauravindra purastrinam Sarvashruti manoharaha
Others chanting and dancing in Banaras. So he criticized him that what kind of sannyasi he is. He does not take to the studies of Vedanta and simply indulges in chanting and dancing with some sentimental people. Well, criticized. So one devotee of Lord Chaitanya informed that you are being criticized that we cannot tolerate it, neither we can reply. He is a great Vedanti. So better we shall give up our life. Then the meeting was arranged between the Vedantis. Actually, Vedanta, Veda means the knowledge. Then the Veda, Vida Jnana, the big dhatu, those who know Sanskrit, dhatu, verbal form. So there are different forms of one root. It's like the real root is the big dhatu. Now, it is sometimes spoken as Bhakti. Sometimes it is called Vida. Sometimes it is called Vinte. Sometimes it is called Ginnati, Ginnate. There are different forms of the same root, Vidha. So, which form should be used? The grammarians, they know it. Sanskrit language is very difficult language. One has to learn the grammar portion of it only for 12 years. Then he becomes expert grammarian. And when one becomes nice grammarian, he can read any literature, different department of knowledge, Ayurveda, Manuveda, Veda, Veda, so many Vedas. The real Veda means knowledge. I already explained. And I was in 1968 in London, the corner hall. That is published in his own Prasad. The Veda means knowledge. That's the Veda without Jnana. Jnana means knowledge. So, Veda Anta. Anta means end. There is everything of our material life has got a beginning and an end. So here in this material world, every one of us, we come here ignorant, like animals, no knowledge. There are so many varieties of living entities. Gradually, by evolution, we come to the human form of life. And our consciousness is developed. We can understand higher knowledge, and that is called Veda. The Veda does not mean it is meant for cats and dogs. Veda means knowledge. This knowledge is meant for the human Vedic. Therefore, Indian civilization, based on Vedic knowledge, is estimated so high. Perfect. Perfect state system of human society based on Vedic civilization. Everything is correctly reasoned. The ideas are given by persons who are above material content. Mukta Purush. Mukta Purush means one is not affected by the material incompetence. There are material incompetencies. We commit mistake, we are illusion, or senses are imperfect, and sometimes not always, we want to cheat. These are the defects of material knowledge. And one is above this material incompetency is called Mukta Purush. So, one has to become Mukta Purush. That is called Vedic knowledge. That is called Vedanta. Vedanta Sutra. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So Vedanta means the ultimate platform of acquiring knowledge. Up to this. So that up to this is Krishna. That if you talk of Krishna, Krishna consciousness, then you talk of all the Vedas, Sarva Sruti Manohar. You talk of Vedic knowledge, but if you simply talk of Vedic knowledge, it becomes dry, speculative. But if you talk of Krishna and Krishna's Leela, Krishna's pastime, then it becomes simultaneously discussion of Vedic knowledge, at the same time very beautiful. Therefore, Krishna is described here, Uttama Shloka. Krishna is never described by ordinary verses. Uttama Shloka. Uttama Shloka means Uttama way also divided. Ut means transcendent. One who has crossed Udvata. Ut means one who has gone the other side. Tama means this dark. This world, this material world, just like it is dark. Therefore, the country or the part of the world which is always covered by darkness, already there is darkness. And if again that country does not get the facility of sunshine, it is considered that that country is condemned. It is Shastric. Any country which does not get the full facility of sunshine, it is to be considered condemned. I think I remarked this long ago when I first carried television. they asked me, Nand, what is your conception of hell? And this is hell, Nand. My concept, practically. All is dark, moist, drizzling, no sunshine. Cloudy, misty, simple big building, that's all. So, there must be clear sunshine. So why this material world? Why this material world is called common? Because everyone is a hero. He does not know what is the value of life. Everyone. In other words, all fools and rascals. Just like big scientists, they are theorizing that life is made out of that. How much ignorance it is. All the Darwin theory, chemical evolution. Simply that basic, that from matter life. But where is the one gentleman in California University, is Nobel Prize holder. He came to lecture. Our disciple, Sravanan, he also talked about chemistry. And the professor explained that from such and such chemicals combination life starts. He said, if I give you the chemicals, can you make life? In that big yes, well, that I cannot say. So, what is the use of such knowledge? You are taking Nobel Prize, only Nobel Prize, on the basis of certain theorizing knowledge. And when you are challenged, now you produce with this chemical, you say that I cannot. So this is right. Anyway, human life is made for knowledge. That's the fact. Therefore, Adhara Brahma Jigyasa, and what knowledge? Knowledge does not mean how to eat, how to sleep, how to have sex life, and how to be fair. That is not knowledge. These things are there in the animal. The animals also know very well how to eat, how to sleep, how to have sex life, and how to be fed. No, that's not. The human life is meant for different meanings. And that is Brahma Jigyasa. So Brahma Jigyasa, if one begins the life of Brahma Jigyasa, Brahma Jnana, and it ends in understanding Krishna, that is perfect. That is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadati. The one is actually jnanavan in knowledge. Such person, not so called. There are two classes of men. One class of men is called Jnanavan, and another class of men is called Maya Apurita Jnana. All these words you will find in the Bhagavad Gita. This is not my memory. So Maya Apurita Jnana means he is still number one, but he is thinking that he is vastly learned. He has advanced his knowledge. So simply he is puffed up falsely. That is called Maya Apurita Jnana. And Jnanavan means one who has actual knowledge. So what is the difference between the two? One who has got actually the knowledge and one who is simply falsely puffed up that he has got knowledge. What is how he finds that here is a man who has got real knowledge, and here is a man, rascal, but he is very much puffed up. So, it is very easy to find out, at least for us. That is the fact. This is our criteria. Just like you can find out the currency known, which one is genuine and which one is not genuine. There are some signs. This is an example. Similarly, our criteria is from the Bhagavad Gita, from Shastra, that we find these two verses in the Bhagavad Gita. What is this? The one thing is, Namang Duskitinam Mudha Prapadante Naranama Maya Apaitam Jnana Asuri Bhava. The Rakas Asuri Bhava. Asuri Bhava means one who does not accept the supremacy of God. What is God? Anger. Anger. These rascals are called Maya Apurita Jnana. They do not surrender to God or Krishna. They pose themselves as God. As soon as you find anyone does not surrender to Krishna, does not understand Krishna, he does. Anyone, he doesn't know. That is the first test. Then you come to the details. As soon as you find somebody that he does not understand what is God, his relationship with God, and what is the ultimate object of life, he is a rascal. And as soon as we find somebody that he has surrendered to Krishna, Bhavanam Janmanamanti Jnanavan Manu Prabhaddhale. How he has surrendered? Vasudeva Sarvaviti. Vasudeva Krishna is everything. Actually, he is everything. The whole world is combination of two energies. Material energy and spiritual energy. And Krishna is the source of two energies. Therefore, ultimate Krishna is the cause of all that. This is the summary study. Sarva Karana Karanam Ishara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radi Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So, people God, just like we are presenting so many books about Krishna. Simply we are trying to explain Krishna with all these translations. There's nothing but Krishna. how to understand this one. So, here it is called Sarva Sruti Mano. Krishna is very pleasing to hear. Krishna is the reservoir of all place. When we get our attachment or hearing about Krishna, then at least we can consider that we have become free from material content. When we get attachment simply for hearing Krishna, nothing else, all nonsense, then you should understand that you have become liberated. These are the tests. Everyone can get this position because there is process. If you follow the process, then you come to the real state. So, Adu Sandhya, Tato Sadhu Sangha. The beginning of this process is Sandha. Just like you have come here with a conception of hey, that here is Krishna consciousness movement. Let us hear something about this movement. This is Sandhya, Adu Sandhya. This is the beginning. Unless one has faith or attachment, not attachment, faith of Sadhu Sandhya, then you mix it with the devotee. We are opening so many branches just to give opportunity to the people to mix with that. Come with that. Radha Krishna was some nature. Hey, Matra Vita. We don't want anything from anyone. We don't want any political independence, social information, or humanity and anything. Nothing. We simply request people, please chant Hare Krishna down. We don't expect anything from anybody. These are Radha Krishna was some nature. You chant also, we are chanting on the street, Hare Krishna, you also join Radha Krishna. And so long we go, we come with a master culture. We don't want anything. This is not a business that we have come on the street to chant and to make some business. No. It is for your benefit. Krishna consciousness movement is very important movement at the present moment. Not only at the present moment, but all the time, past, present, and future. But at the present moment, the members of the international society, they are taking it seriously to propagate this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world, and we are getting very good result. At least to our level, we are getting good result all over the world. There is no question of discouragement. So go on. This is our therefore Uttama Shloka Chitasa. The heart must be always filled up with Krishna consciousness. That is called Uttama Shloka Chitasa. So in this way, Krishna consciousness movement, everyone will be happy. Thank you.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bol Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Anybody have any reflections on what we just heard or what we just listened to? This is a very nice class.
Yes, Prabhu. Really, really nice. every lecture I hear from Prabhupada is just so amazing to see that how he covers all the basic fundamentals, of the philosophy. And it's so important if we have they say, right, that if you have the fundamental of what is it called? If you're building if you're making a building, and you have to have your grounds strong, then you can make a really tall building. So even here, Prabhupada emphasizing so much on the basics. So really nice to hear that.
Yeah, hearing from the words of the spiritual master is very it's such an essential thing to do as part of your sadhana. Every time we think, that we have tried to advance, or we are, if we're advancing, maybe we should hear some more intimate things. The Srila Prabhupada's classes, many disciples have been hearing his classes for 50 plus years. And the same thing Srila Prabhupada saying in 1966, 1973, you can hear on different levels of advancement. And once you hear it in that way, that levels of advancement, then it's very then you can keep on hearing this classes every year, every day, so it's very nice. Prabhupada speaks on different levels. He reciprocates based on whoever's in the audience, but he also reciprocates based on everyone's um, intelligence or surrender. So it's very nice. Thank you, Al Prabhu. Ramesh Prabhu or Juhi Maji, would you like to say something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, I was just here for last 30 minutes, but during that time when Srila Prabhupada was talking about Vedic knowledge, like how just talking about Vedic knowledge with speculation is not that important, but like when we speak about Krishna's pastimes, already like we are speaking about Vedic knowledge. So that was very nice, and how he was talking about Tama, the dark, why there is Tama in this world because of ignorance, and he was talking about hell, and just building the big buildings is not enough. So yeah, I liked how he was this.
Maji, you kind of broke up at the end. Could you repeat the last part after what you said about the big buildings?
Yeah, no, but that was the only last thing that I said about big buildings, like only big buildings. We should just not build big buildings, and like how Srila Prabhupada like educated us through this speech. Yeah, I couldn't hear the entire class, but last 30 minutes, whatever I could.
Yeah, that's great, Mother Juhi. I also like that point when he's talking about Tama and Uttama and Vedic knowledge. Uttama, I never heard uh, uh, this breakdown of the word Uttama. I just always thought Uttama means topmost, but Prabhupada's saying that Ut means to cross over, Tama means darkness. So to cross over the darkness. That's one of the meanings. So yeah, it's nice to just hear the Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge can be quite heavy sometimes, very difficult to understand, but hearing about Krishna's pastimes, that is as good as Vedic knowledge, because as we learn from Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarve raham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. So out of all the Vedas to be studied, if you just know Krishna, he's the end of all the Vedas. So you can either take the longer route, or you can just take the highway. So if you can just learn about Krishna, it's very nice, and that's counts for your Vedic study. So thank you, Mother Jugi. Ramesh Prabhu, would you like to say something?
Hey, Hare Krishna, Hari. So I was here for only for a few minutes. Yeah, but Just want to add, yeah, that's absolutely, you're absolutely right. Like yesterday I was reading one of the Srimad Bhagavatam purports, right? So Prabhupada clearly writes, any subject matter which does not involve Krishna is not worth being discussed. So Prabhupada is very clear on that. So as long as the subject matter is not related to Krishna in any way, then there's better not we don't even discuss the matter. So he said the Krishna is the purifying force on anything, whatever we do. So, that's the reason very important that we need to spend more time on that. And I didn't understand the context of the discussion which Mataji was mentioning about big buildings. But I just wanted to add on that is, any building we are creating for ISKCON or anything in a big temple and all those things, if they don't have the purpose of preaching, so the only reason and the main reason why any temple or any big building is built is to attract more conditional souls to devotional service, pure devotional service, which Srila Prabhupada has kindly given us. So that's the only purpose. Beyond that, if we have any other purpose, then that's not true. So that's where we should look everything in the eyes of preaching, as Mataji clearly mentioned, book distribution and all those things. Everything comes to that. So it's only if we are approaching that in different forms. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you, Hari.
Yeah,
Ramesh Prabhu, I think you are very right. Like buildings, if we are serving Krishna through that building, then it is worth. But I think somewhere, like in his speech, he was asking that question: just building big buildings, that's all. So like material buildings without where there is no service to Krishna. So I think he was asking question to the others, and.
Actually, Srila Prabhupada, I think in one of the lectures I've heard, it's actually more of robbery, basically, where you are taking Krishna's resources and everything, and you are building something, and you call it your own, and all those kind of stuff, right? So it really doesn't make any sense, anything. So anything which is not being devoted to Krishna, it actually doesn't have any meaning. So thank you, Mantha. Yep.
Yeah, in the middle of the lecture, it was very nice that so I think someone asked Prabhupada, what is hell? And then Prabhupada said, London is hell. Because there's no sunlight, there's no good air, there's nothing. You're just and then that was the context that they were just building big buildings and nothing else. And Prabhupada didn't mind actually to have big buildings because if you remember in the history, I think in 1974, I think the devotees acquired the West 55th Street Temple in New York City. And Prabhupada, there's a famous picture of Srila Prabhupada sitting on top of the skyscraper. And it was so close to the Empire State Building that you could see the Empire State Building from the terrace. And the Hare Krishnas owned that whole skyscraper. And it was every floor there was devotees staying. At least 200, 300 devotees were staying in the temple as brahmacharis, brahmacharinis. And they were running a restaurant in the bottom. Radha Govinda was there, Gaur Nitai. So very historic temples. So if big buildings, as Ramesh Prabhu was saying, big buildings can be utilized in the service of Krishna, why not? Everything can be utilized in the service of Krishna. I think I like to do my realizations in the terms of reflections. So whatever I'm going to take away from this class that stuck out to me is I really like what the last part was, Prabhupada was saying, is that Krishna consciousness should be full in the heart. That in this way, the heart must be always filled up with Krishna consciousness. I thought that was such a deep and profound thing, that if your heart should be always filled with Krishna consciousness, as Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu was saying in that lecture of internal book distribution, he was saying that real book distribution is actually an explosion from your sadhana or from your book distribution, from your japa, your sadhana, and your practices. It is actually an explosion from there. That's when we're getting onto the platform of real para upakar, of real para dukha dukhi, and real book distribution. Everything else may be some semblance of real book distribution, but real book distribution is there's an explosion outbursting from your sadhana or from your japa, and you're saying that you have that ultimate realization that it's very high sadhana is book distribution. And then to this point is that your heart must be so much filled with Krishna consciousness that you feel so much compassion for all the souls who may not be engaged in Krishna consciousness, and you just go in and you give it to them. So that is the real method. So Prabhupada is hinting at that our hearts should always be filled with Krishna consciousness, and it should be all the way like tama. Tama means it's another derivative of tama means full. It should be full, so we should always keep ourselves pure, and as Ananda Prabhu used to say, be pure and do the needful. It's Ananda Prabhu was a great revolutionary. He used to say, be pure, do the needful. Anybody can blame others for not being pure. I can look at Alec Prabhu can look at Juhi Mataji can look at me, and we can all go in a big triangle and say, you're not pure, you're not pure, you're not helping. But then it's actually an individual effort. And we have to say, we have to take the effort and say, that anybody can point fingers, but to say, the buck, there's a English saying, the buck stops here. So it stops at me. So let me make myself as pure as I can, and help others as much as I can. So that's one of the things that I'll take from this class, that our heart needs to be full with Krishna consciousness. And another thing would be Devim Prakritim Ashrita and Asurim Bhavam Ashrita. That the demonic class of life, they take shelter of the material energy, and they believe that there's no God, and then there's they question God's supremacy, while the devotees always take Devim Prakritam Ashrita. They consistently, wherever they're put in life, is they're always taking shelter of Krishna, like Draupadi. Draupadi was so much aggrieved with so many things that happened to her, and her children were slaughtered. She was publicly disrobed, but she was always constantly taking shelter of Krishna, and that was her biggest glory. So we can take we can always take examples of these examples like Prahlad, Draupadi, Queen Kunti, the cowherd boys. So many examples of devotees who have taken shelter of the Devim Prakritim, the spiritual energy. So the cowherd boys were going in to the big snakes, mouth, and they're like, "Are we sure we should be doing this?" And then they're like, "Yeah, it's a snake's mouth. Let's go see what's inside. Krishna's back there. He'll take care of us." So they just rushed in, It's a very they just had so much faith in the Devim Prakritim, that Krishna's energy, that they're like, okay, Krishna's gonna save us anyway. It's fine. And Krishna has to save them again. So it's very nice. So those are the two things that I'll take away from this class. Anybody else have any final comments on anything I said or anything about that?
Yeah, thanks, Hari Prabhu, for sharing that. I have one last question. So first of all, wish you both happy Basant Panchami. I don't know what is the ISKCON tradition to celebrate this day. Today is very auspicious day. But I heard that Lord Krishna blessed Lord Saraswati and said that you will be worshipped along with me on this day. So can you share, is there any ISKCON tradition that we celebrate Goddess Saraswati?
Yeah. So today is Vasant Panchami, very, very nice day. I have not, I usually research the days after when I'm eating breakfast. So I haven't eaten breakfast yet, so I haven't researched the day. But what I've experienced in the last couple of years is Today is actually the first day of spring in the Vedic calendar. So today's Krishna's Vasan Leela will happen. It's a very very interesting pastime of Krishna's Vasant springtime season pastimes. So it is actually the deities are dressed in yellow usually. If you go look at Radha Madhav right now in Mayapur, their skin is yellow and their dresses are full of gorgeous yellow flowers and gorgeous dresses, and it's a very auspicious day. And I think I have heard that. Well, let's see. Alec Prabhu has put something on the chat. Places like Vrindavan, Mayapur, and Jagannath Puri and Urvi, many of the women folk dress in yellow also. As it is the first day of spring, many fertility rites are performed. Yeah, Vasanta Rag must be sung. Krishna's yellow dress must be offered. And I do think that there is a pastime of Krishna is blessing Saraswati on this day, but I haven't researched it. But it is on our Vaishnav calendar. Today actually is a very full day in our Vaishnav calendar. Today is the appearance of Raghunandan Thakur, disappearance of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vasant Panchami, Saraswati Puja. A lot of things are happening today. If you look at the ISKCON Columbus calendar, the whole box is full. I hope that helps, Mother Juhi. I'll do some more research and forward it to the group if I see any.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Alec, for sharing this. Because I know, like I read the same, that Lord Krishna said that along with me, you will be also worshipped to Goddess Saraswati. So, but I didn't knew like we can worship Lord Krishna in this way by offering leaves, new flowers and grasses. And
I wonder if I have, 1 second. Let me see if I can pull up the ISKCON Mayapur. Usually it's very nice. We can start our day with looking at these deities. Hare Krishna. Alec Prabhu, did you have any final comments before we kind of ended today?
No, Prabhu, we covered it nicely. It's always great to hear Prabhupada, and it's a good practice to hear him every day. And yeah, it's nice way to start our Saturdays. And thanks to Mataji for reminding about the festivities that's done today. It's a very auspicious day today. So many exalted devotees have appeared and disappeared, and also of course Saraswati Puja and Vasant Panchami. So wish you the same.
Here, let me share my screen real quick. This is the Vasant Panchami Darshan.
Jai.
wow, Haribol.
Usually it's so elaborate, it's one of the most amazing darshans. How all the gopis are yellow, and it's everything is reminding of springtime. In Mayapur, it's considered one of the best darshans of the year. I mean, every darshan is very, very good, but it's very sought after darshan. Let's just keep it like that. A lot of tulsis are offered and a lot of yellow, as you see. Okay, well, if
Actually, saying this darshan, I just feel who would not like to become devotee of Lord Krishna by having such magnanimous darshan of him.
Yeah, it's mentioned in Bhagavatam that only people who have atmahat, only for the devotees, only for people who have no care for their soul or killers of their soul, do not worship Krishna on the banks of the river Yamuna at the evening time. Only those people don't worship Krishna. How can you resist? There's no resistance. Where everybody's attracted, the boys, the girls, the young people, the old people, lame, crippled, black, white, yellow, everybody's attracted to Krishna. So it's very nice.
Yeah, one last comment, like I don't know, I have not ever been able to give a nice answer to one of my friends' questions. She's always like, her family is into service of Krishna, but they follow Pushti Marg, and but the Krishna consciousness activities are done regularly in her family. But she is not totally in following rituals and all, but she always tells me that because she is much into like fashion, beauty and all, and my interest is least in that sector. So she always tells me, whenever like I discuss with her, okay, this is the day I'm planning to do this, then she always asks, okay, what are you going to wear, what are you going to do, and I was like, no, I'll just keep it simple. So she will say, you worship Lord Krishna, who always, like, you guys decorate him so nicely and so opulent, and why you want to dress like if you are serving him, you should also dress up nicely, you should also why you want to remain simple? You should also have that that when you're worshipping such opulent god, then you should have something in you also, like to dress up like him and all. So sometimes, like, I would say, but we say like we are servants of Krishna, right? Like if in your home, if you're serving, like, will they come dressed up and like that? So then she's saying, no, I don't agree with you, you should also remain in opulence, just like how you're worshipping Lord Krishna. So I don't know how I can give her good answer.
This is the big question for 500 points. Alec Prue, do you want to take a crack at it?
I know you have something to share too. But yeah, I was thinking, but I was also thinking or hearing the same thing. Of course, in my family also we have people but who are very, very favorable, but still they have their own desires. And two things that come to my mind is one is that sometimes people try to justify their sense gratification on the name of Krishna. It's not that because Krishna is God and we are his devotees, we want to also become attractive and we also want to dress up nicely. No, it is that desire to Krishna is just an excuse. Serving Krishna is just an excuse to fulfill their desires. It's just like one time someone asked Jayadvaita Maharaj that Maharaj, I want to buy a really big opulent house so that I can invite all the devotees and do home programs. Then Maharaj said, well, how many days you are planning to invite devotees in the house? He said, maybe probably once a month. So he started laughing. Then you see, you don't need such big house. So it's not a good practice to fulfill our desires in the name of Krishna. So that's one thing. And then another thing is, who said that we are not dressing opulently? We are wearing such nice, clean, simple, plain dhoti, kurta, gopi dress, putting nice tilak, wearing nice kantimala. So I think in one sense, it is the most opulent. It is shiny clothes, wearing lots of jewelry and dressing our hair, and that is not necessary. What we have is already so opulent. And then once it's done, then we focus on the main service. Otherwise, at the time of death, again, the same thought will come that, oh, is my hair looking okay on the deathbed? Am I wearing correctly? So it's we are already, I can say all of us, Prabhupada has given us such a pure tradition, of Vaishnava's tradition. So it's already perfect.
That's very true, Alec Prabhu. Thank you.
I was thinking along the point of Prabhupada says that everything can be used in the service of Krishna. So in one sense, we hear many times in descriptions that the gopis dress themselves very nicely, the chaste women dress themselves very nicely. There's gold and bangles and things like that. But you hear Yashoda Mai, you hear Devahuti, you hear so many descriptions of things like this. So I wouldn't say it is very wrong, but you have to look at for women, you have to look at what these great ladies who like Deva Draupadi was Mahishi, like a queen, like Kunti was a queen. They weren't dressed in very simply and things like that. But you have to look at why they were dressing that way. They're dressing for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is the main point. Are you doing things for the pleasure of Krishna, or as Alak Prabhu said, are you trying to satisfy your sense gratification and using Krishna as a as a kind of like a scapegoat? Scapegoat means something that takes a sacrifice. So you have to ask yourself that, if I put my put like nice gold bangles or gold this so many things, if it is pleasing to Krishna, then what is there's no harm. But if Krishna has said, Vasam si jirnani yata vihaya navani gridnati naroparani tata sarirani yata vihaya navani gridnati naroparani. I think I messed up the second line, but he's saying that you change the body exactly how you change clothes. It's one thing to another, and so we should really look at what Krishna wants for us, and that is the utmost point of Krishna consciousness. So as Srila Prabhupada said, yeah, we shouldn't look our happy. And so that kind of changes that dynamic. So now you're thinking about Krishna, what Krishna wants. So, and Krishna wants you to be happy, and you will not be happy by painting your fingernails or putting your hair up really nice or wearing a sari or wearing bangles. Krishna is not pleased by that. Krishna is pleased by your devotion, you know. So he's pleased by your devotion. So that's what really matters. It doesn't matter if you're wearing just like 50 rupee white cotton sari, or you're wearing 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 rupees silk sari. It's actually about bhaktya mam abhijanati, that you need to have bhakti in the heart. So there's actually Achintya Chaitanya Prabhu was giving a nice clarification in the Sravanam Saturdays a few Saturdays back. He was saying that there's one aspect of mixed devotional service and there's pure devotional service. So mixed devotional service is trying to make excuses for Krishna, okay, so I know Krishna Bhakti is there, but I really like to, let's just say, drink alcohol. But Krishna will accept, that I drink alcohol. I do so many other things. I do so many other services. So me drinking alcohol is okay. That is mixed devotional service. You're mixing your material desires and devotional service. But then there's pure devotional service, which is along the line that says, okay, I have this addiction to drinking alcohol, and I really I'm trying to get out of it because I know it is not favorable to Krishna consciousness. So but I'm still practicing Krishna consciousness. So I'm going to slowly try to give up alcohol to try to extend my Krishna consciousness. That is still along the parameters of pure bhakti. Does that make sense, Mother Juhi?
Yes, yes. It is very good. Actually, I'm hearing for the first time this concept of mixed devotional service and pure devotional service.
This is mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion, and there's another aspect of mixed devotional service. So, like, we're building this new temple now in Hilliard. So a big donor comes up and says, Juhi Maji, I want to do some service to the new temple. You're like, okay, we need help with website, we need help with flyers, we need help with so many things. And then the guy says, no, I will only give plastic chairs to temple. I won't do anything else. I won't give donation. I don't want to give anything else. I only want to give plastic chairs. Now, Krishna may need some plastic chairs. So that is what we want to do, but we're not asking the right question. What does Krishna want for us? So that is another aspect of mixed devotional service. So there's pure devotional service that, okay, I have some anarthas, I have some issues. Let me try as much as my ability can to try to get rid of it, so that I can come to the platform of Krishna consciousness. But mixed devotional service, they say, that they make excuses. they make excuses for what is pure bhakti and they mix everything, and it actually becomes a big disturbance in the Vaishnava community. I can make a little clip. I can clip out in that Achinta Chaitanya Prabhu's class when he mentions this. It's a very succinct point. I think devotees need to hear that. I hope that
Yeah,
helps.
thanks, Hari. Yes, definitely. It absolutely helps. Thank you so much for sharing. Actually, I learned so much. Yeah, I'm glad that I joined this class today, even for the last 30 minutes, and it ended up like this. I'm very happy.
Any moment with Juhi Maji and Alak Prabhu it's a good moment in my eyes. So I'm very happy to have you guys. So we can pause our reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Next week we will continue on, hopefully in the temple. So we'll just end Vaishnava pranams. Mancha Kalpadrubhyascha Kripasindubhyascha Patanam Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Jai. Hari Bol.